You might be surprised to learn that I think Tezzeret is a bit of a flop in Vintage. Welcome back, Vintage gamers, to an off-stream recording, second week of Tezzeret on like a Tuesday. I am going to do some testing, some serious testing here. I want to see what Tezzeret looks like inside of Paradoxical Outcome, Tinker Paradoxical Outcome to be more specific. There was a Vintage Challenge win from Death from Above on the Saturday challenge, I believe, with a 4 Tezzeret PO list. My initial take is I wasn't really expecting this deck to be better than playing Lurrus PO, but I want to give it my due diligence. So I've taken this list and I've made some tweaks to it. The number one thing is I've added the white splash for the main deck Portable Hole and the side deck Prismatic Endings and Swords of Plowshares. I think that's like one of the big reasons to play Tezzeret in PO is to give you that main deck tutorable answer to no run. And then I just tweaked around the spell slots a little bit, and I'm going to try out a couple different things. But for the most part, it's very similar to the initial list. Yeah. The big question right now in the Vintage is how good is Tezzeret actually? Because I made a post and people were very questioning of it, and where I said I think Tezzeret's kind of a flop. And that might make no sense to you if you're just watching this on YouTube, and that's the only way you get your Vintage content. I put up a video where Tezzeret looked really good in a kitten deck. That was fun. And then I put up a video where I top 8'd with my first attempt at building a combo Raker Shops oriented deck. And so how can it be a flop, Justin? It's gotten multiple top 8s. And the way I'm looking at it is the majority of people seem to think when Tezzeret was spoiled that this card was going to be restricted. It's going to be instant restricted. It's going to be a huge metagame shift. And from what I can tell so far, I think this card will have less metagame impact than Stock Up. It doesn't feel like a metagame shifting card. It doesn't feel like it has the power to create its own decks as of yet. It absolutely could. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's a deck building card. It feels more like a specific upgrade card to some decks. The most important being, it is definitely a huge upgrade to Raker Shops. The thing is, I don't think it changes Raker Shop's position in the metagame. I think you're still kind of in the exact same spot you were before with your Raker Shops deck, but maybe you got a couple percentage increase in power level. And I don't know if that will even translate to like a huge increase in play rate. So if you're looking at the metagame and you're like, it's not seeing play in mono white, which I thought it might be able to see play in mono white. It doesn't seem like it's going to see play in mono white. It's not really seeing a ton of play in Jewel. It's going to be maybe a 0 to 2 copies in Jewel. The people who I trust to do Jewel things, God rest their souls. Sorry, I'm just a hater. Seem to think that you can fit 2 copies in, but the Jewel deck is just like really tight. The deck list is really hard. You can't really be cutting blue cards, and you can't really be cutting payoffs, and you can't really be cutting mana, so there's just nothing to cut. So I've seen a couple of lists. I think this Nathan list should work. Yeah, 2 Tezzeret getting fit in, which I think makes sense. Slight upgrade into Jewel. The big reason I wanted to see Tezzeret in Jewel is because it's going to help you get blue mana to actually cast your blue spells. One of the biggest problems I have in Jewel is that it has a low blue count for Force of Will and a low blue mana count for casting blue spells. And I think Sean has rightly pointed out that one of the strongest parts of Tezzeret is his ability to turn 3 colorless mana into 3 mana of any color using Black Lotus. So think about that when you're doing Tezzeret building. But I don't see Tezzeret making a meaningful impact on the meta share of Lurrus Frog. I'm not convinced as of right now that playing Tezzeret PO is better than playing Lurrus PO. Well, maybe we'll see during this league and we'll see something new. No change. I figured it might like hamper Dredge's ability to play the game, but Dredge just like won a challenge this weekend, had lots of players, did perfectly fine. Doomsday Sphere Shops, it hasn't really seen play in Sphere Shops. I think one of the big reasons is because it has not a very good synergy with Null Rod, and Null Rod is one of the reasons to play Shear Drops. And then obviously we can fit it inside of these Blue Tinker decks. But do these Blue Tinker decks actually want it is a pretty reasonable question. So as of right now, I don't think Tezzeret is a restrictable card. I don't think Tezzeret is a huge metagame shift. And I'm not even sure that Tezzeret is that good. Which, like I said, it might come as a shock to you because the last couple of videos have been very hype about Tezzeret. And I think this card is fine, right? This card is a vintage card. This card we'll see play in vintage forever. But I just don't know if it's going to really shift. Like, Stock Up shifted the metagame. Lurrus PO and Tinker percentages were drastically changed. And so far, we're not seeing Tezzeret do that. It is worth noting that for a while last week, Tezzeret was a $50 card, which definitely has an impact on its playability. And it has such now come down to $15 or so. So maybe this week will be the first week where people get to truly try Tezzeret. And I also want to point out, though it hasn't made its own decks right now, it doesn't mean people aren't trying. I've seen some Zerta decks. I've seen some Oswald Fiddlebender Turbo Volt key decks. I think there actually could be a pretty cool Oswald, Ancient Tomb Mono White Tezzeret control deck. That deck probably wouldn't use Sphere Resistance, but it would maybe use different lock pieces besides that. So there's lots of thoughts. And today the main goal here is going to be try to identify if Tezzeret PO feels better than playing Lurrus PO. So I'll see you in round 1. I'll be a special guest at the Steel City Spectacular August 14th through 17th in Pittsburgh. This CEDH main event will also feature a Legacy Battle for Duels and a Vintage Battle for a Black Lotus. 15 proxy vintage with a Black Lotus as the main prize. I hope to see you at these amazing Eternal Magic the Gathering events. Let's battle. All right, here we go. Attempt number 1 with Tezzeret PO. One thing I'm a little worried about is mana. Having access to Ancient Tomb. One of these lists had a Grim Monolith. I cut it because I kind of didn't have the space. Playing a single Grim Monolith that you don't really ever tutor for doesn't feel right to me. If I was playing 2 Grim Monoliths, I'd feel better about it. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but here we have a nice Force of Will hand. Probably not the strongest hand in general, but it's hard for me to put back Force of Will and some blue mana, especially Blue Moxen. Obviously, we're down a card because we have this Portable Hole that we won't be able to cast, but that's okay. That is definitely the consequence of playing one of tutor targets. I'm not obviously thrilled about the idea of Lotus on top, cast Stock Up with it, but it is what we have to do here. Obviously, we want this Stock Up to come through with maybe Moxen and land. That would let us build out our PO mana and cast Stock Up. All right, maybe a Jewel player, maybe a Tezzeret player, Raker player. One of the problems is maybe we do have to force most Tezzerets because they get Vexing Baubles. We'll have to see. Because I could always, if I had Thundertrap Trainers, which I don't. Oh, my opponent has a Tolarian hand. Okay. Because if I was playing the Thundertrap Trainer Lurrus version, right, I could theoretically just let Tezzeret resolve and then attack the Tezzeret down. We'll have to see. Obviously, this one doesn't have creatures in it, really, so it's very classic Tinker PO style. I have a lot of concerns about this deck list, but we'll give it a clearer vision and let it go and see what happens. I do think I want. There's something to be said here about floating a white, so I can Portable Hole the key. I kind of think it just feels really bad. Would I rather have access to moored blue sources? I think I would. I guess what would be the reason if I hit like if I hit Mana Crypt off color Moxen, then I would want to have. I mean, even then I have a redo by. Maybe I don't need to. I've kind of talked myself into the idea of maybe I can keep the white floating. I'm not seeing an instance where I would need extra blue because I have the extra blue. Wow. My stock up did not find. Okay. So I'm going to take Tinker Vamp so that I can tinker with Force Backup on this next turn here. And just hope that Citadel saves me. It's a very classic PO game. And I'll play Portable Hole, and hopefully that will slow down my opponent. I don't know if I'm supposed to take the Soul Ring or if I'm supposed to take the Key. Considering that Key is like a lot less... It's a lot more prevalent in their deck. Like they're going to have Tezzerets and Keys and stuff. I don't know if taking the Key makes sense, whereas taking the Soul Ring is going to take off at least, 3-4 mana worth. All right, so we have a Force, but we don't know what kind of deck our opponent is on still. We don't really have great... I wonder if we want to be tinkering. Or want to be, yeah. Because we could always do, like, stock up. We could vamp for a Mana Crypt and stock up. Alright, so opponent might be playing a PO Tinker deck as well. Sensei Stop. Do I have a Sensei Stop? Yeah, I have a Sensei Stop. I'm gonna make sure I had a Sensei Stop for a second. Blue, black, demonic. Okay, so this is gonna be Time Vault, which we will have to force. They are a little choked on mana here, where they can't really have Flusterstorm backup. They can have Force backup, though. This is something that I could have prevented by hitting the Key, but then they would have had tons of mana to do whatever the hell they want with. I don't know. Doesn't feel too bad to me. Time Vault. All right, I will force this, pitching PO. They could always spin and try to have a force to resolve it. I just don't think that's very good. If they have a Flusterstorm, they're tapped out, so they probably would Flusterstorm to resolve it. As long as, I mean, I think they should at the very least blind draw for Force of Will after they've demonicked. Oh, they're gonna spin. That's interesting. I would have considered blind drawing for Force, maybe. But spin lets them, like, theoretically find a Force for my turn. I have to consider what I'm gonna vamp for. I'm gonna tinker for a Citadel, right? But I'm gonna have to vamp to make sure it happens, especially if they force. The problem is, I think I'm just gonna get an off-color Moxen because I think a Mana Crypt is more important. You get an Opal. Yeah, I actually like that because I have the double Opal and I have it with Metalcraft with the portable home. All right, see how good this Citadel is. Unless my opponent spun and kept a Force. No. Citadel, Scroll. Time Walk can't keep it. I'll take a Mystical. Well, can't cast this no matter what. Well, I can later. I think if I take Mystical, so any land gives me Time Walk. I think that makes the most sense. PO. I would almost don't want to give them back the portable hole. Okay, and that's why we kept the Mana Crypt in our deck. All right, I think we're good here. Displacer Kitten, I see. All right, yeah, we're good here. I want to hold my land drop. I guess I don't even have to, right? I can just Yogwell. That's fine. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Let's just go. Don't want to get mana crit. I should just Yogwell. Because I have tinker away my mana crit for a time vault and take infinite turns. All right, we're back to the Tinker PO mirror life where you don't actually need to have cards, you just need to resolve Tinker. Yeah, I don't miss Tinker. Tinker was not too fun. I think I want to not play. I'm wearing Chalice on the play, but not on the draw. I'm gonna bring in Forces, Flusters. I don't know if you're supposed to bring in Consign here just to be able to hit Tezzerets. Shouldn't need Portable Hole or Island. If they have a bunch of Flusters, Mystical and Vamp get a lot worse. I think being able to tutor Bobble to beat Force is still pretty good, though. I think the sync is not really necessary. And still got a lot of counter magic, so I'm a little concerned, but maybe we just don't need two opals. Let's try something like this. Okay. No opening force, which could be a problem, but if they went Vexing Bobble, I have a mental misstep for it, so you could do things like that too. If you have a Thunder Trap Trainer, right, and your opponent goes Tezzeret, find Vexing Bobble, you could let the Tezzeret resolve and then mental misstep the Vexing Bobble. If they didn't play any zeros after the Tezzeret, which is pretty common, it would be at 1 and you can attack and kill it. Best draw on my deck is Sapphire. Time Walk, that's really good. Because now they can open up and have like tons of different things. Mana Crypt Time Walk sounds lit. Yeah, Time Walk would be a pretty good draw too. PO Tinker Mirrors are incredibly volatile. Not something I miss very much. Gotta be careful about Hull Breacher here. They have Displacer Kitten, PO, Vamp, Fluster. So now they're going to tinker me with Flusterstorm back up. Except I can hold everything up and I'm fine. I think. Especially with Mental Misstep. Maybe I just Mental Misstep the Vamp Tutor. Kind of want them to go all in on a Tinker here. I guess they could theoretically Vamp for Tezzeret. Trying to think of like a different if they vamp for Tinker, it's super good because they Tinker and they fluster and I fluster back and I win. If they vamp for Tezzeret, I think it's fine. I think this is fine. It's gonna make it so we know our opponent's exact hand, and if they don't do anything, we can just vamp for force or not force. I guess like Lotus or something. Yeah, they're gonna go for Tinker. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna work out perfectly because it means we're gonna untap and Tinker our opponent. Because we actually win this Fluster War by having Mana Crypt open. Yeah, I don't know. This is like nothing to do with Tezzeret. This is just we're jamming Tinker mirrors against each other, and it's complete nonsense, which is how Vintage was for quite a long time since I've been playing. Multiple years, we're just who can Tinker the most. Oh, my opponent is going to let it get Flusterstorm so that they don't die to my Tinker. Makes sense. Okay, nice. That's a nice play. So if I were to vamp on my upkeep for a Lotus, 1 spell, 2 spell, Tinker is 3 spells. Hold on. 1 spell, 2 spell, Tinker is 3 spells. So they would Flusterstorm for 4 copies, and I could pay for 3 and Mental Misstep 1. Vamp. Oh no, I would have to use the Vamp, and I'd have to use a Tinker, so I'd have 2 left over, so I can't. So if I hit a land, then I can Tinker, they can Fluster, I can pay 1 and Mental Misstep 1. Okay. Okay. Yeah, just Tinker Mirror. And they're left with basically nothing here. So even if I brick, it's not even bad for me. I am at 11, so it's not like a best Citadel spot with no land drop to give. Tezzeret. Key. Tutor. You can just tutor a Vamp for a Time Vault. If I get a Jet, I go, yeah. Oh, I just found a Tezzeret. I just found a Time Vault. That works too. All right. Just tinker things. All right, we're back with Tezzeret against Lurrus this time. Solid looking hand. Force Ancestral with Yogwill backup plan. Dead Key. One thing I really have come to hate about these Tinker PO lists is you have so many cards that are just like not very good. I'm gonna probably fetch a base. I can fetch an Underground Sea here. So if I get Wastelanded, it's fine. I've just like come to realize like, oh man, I have so many disjoint. Like I have a Portable Hole, I have a Manifold Key, I have a Yogwill, and like these cards require other cards to be good. Yogwill, like kind of, but Yogwill requires you to have cast other spells and have to be in the yard, you know. Which makes me, I don't know. It makes me feel worse about the deck. Are we gonna hold open Bowmaster instead? No, we're just gonna Wasteland me. Okay. I guess the problem here is if I don't draw a land, I'm kind of incentivized to Ancestral on my turn, which plays into negation. I can just miss a land drop, and Ancestral on their turn to play around it. I feel like I have to. Maybe I should have just fetched Basic Island then. Though my opponent taking the turn off from playing spells was pretty good for me. Oh, okay. I would not have hit a land anyways. Well, I hope I can force something because... Oh, yes, I will force this. Charismatic Ending is a nice one. Tezzeret Academy. All right. I'm going to hold this Tezzeret Academy. I think so. Yeah, I'm going to hold this Tezzeret Academy. Because I don't think I gain a ton by, like, I could, I don't know, key and activate or something, but if it gets wastelanded, it's pretty bad for me. Buy Lurrus is fine. Buy Lurrus is totally fine. Okay, so now I have Jet. I could go... I think I'm going to wait on the Tezzeret, the Yogwill until I can get the land with it. So I'll go this, Key, Academy, Tezzeret. What do you even search with this Tezzeret? I've played around this Fluster perfectly. Or sorry, I played around this Negation perfectly. Get the Fluster value. I guess now I could just go Lotus Yogwill. That seems quite good. Can't PO right away, so I guess I would just Ancestral. Like off of Merchant Scroll, I can't PO right away. All right. I mean, this doesn't exactly feel like a Tezzeret game. This does feel like a Tezzeret Academy game, but the Tezzeret did do a good job of finding Lotus for Yogwill. That's something Not Me's been talking about in the Discord a lot, is that Tezzeret has a really good access to Lotus. So if you're trying to build a combo deck that uses Lotus, I know every deck uses Lotus, but like I think of like Auriok Salvagers or Yawgmoth's Will or those kind of cards. Maybe even like Underworld Breach. I do think I played this game pretty well. I'm not sure about the Underground Sea. But like it did tempo my opponent pretty hard. And I do think the one thing that I liked about how I played the two things I liked about how I played this game were ancestraling on my opponent's upkeep, missing a land drop so I could play around negation. That went really well. And then holding the Tezzeret Academy, I don't know if they had a wasteland or not, but like just holding the Tezzeret Academy meant that I could do the thing I wanted to do. So there were some cool things that happened in that game that were small. I like the idea of a Flusterstorm here, and I like the idea of prismatic endings here. It's actually kind of nice because I won't have to bring in swords against this Lurrus Frog deck because I have these endings that are gonna hit null rods and they'll hit Frog if I want. I do think that this is typically where I would rather not have opals though, and Mystical Tutor is usually very bad here. I think Vamp can stay though. But Opal, Mystical for Fluster, Prismatic Ending seems quite a reasonable shift. I could still bring in this so I have access to a swords. If I were to bring that in, what would I take out? Vamp? Actually, don't hate that. Or I could take out Karn, actually. Karn I really don't like in this matchup. Maybe I will bring in all the swords then. This hand is totally reasonable. Love this hand, actually. I think this hand does a lot of good things. So far, I must say my opening hands have been quite good. I don't believe that's always the case with PO. These hands have been very nice. Saga Gaming. Okay. My opponent could be representing Bowmaster here. This sequencing plays around days, but it plays into some other things. Either way, I think this Vexing Bauble is good. If my opponent lets the Vexing Bauble go and goes to end step and Bowmasters, I would probably Bowmaster in response, even though I'll slight overdraw. If they don't do anything, then we'll just go to their turn. Yeah. So this is protected now because they're tapped out. Oh, no, I'm actually directly to 7. Okay, cool. So they've resolved a Bowmaster, but I resolved an Ancestral. I am now tapped out and Vexing Bobbled, so I can't stop them if they were to play like a Null Rod here and beat me, but I don't think I don't have a force anyways, so. All right. Tellurian Academy. That's nice. Let's go Sensei's top. Tellurian. Time Walk with Flusterstorm back up. Man, I just keep drawing Tellurian Academies. That's a good way to win Magic the Gathering games. Spell Pierce. I will actually just hard cast Mental Misstep on this. Go to my next turn where I get to resolve a stock up. I think having Bobble up is still fine. We'll probably crack at some point, though. Key, fetch, swords, probe. I think I like fetch swords. Just get rid of this Bowmaster. Could just get Merchant Scroll and go for a PO anyways. Yeah, I already have swords, so just go for Merchant Scroll. And then I don't think I'm at any risk of getting my Tundra Wastelanded, so I think I'll just do my Merchant Scroll for max mana now and get a PO. But that might be, I don't know. I have an active Tellurian Academy. It's hard for them to Wasteland my Tundra. Okay. Deafening Silence. Certainly an annoying one. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of this now. And I'll play this tapped. They're gonna buy Lurrus, or are they gonna do something with their 2 cards remaining? Okay. I'll crack. You got another Bowmaster. You have another Bowmaster. I think I'm just gonna force it. It'd be hard to use my Flusterstorm here anyways. Get my Ruby in play. And I have lots of different things I can do. If they play a spell, I can go for a PO. It'll be hard to redeploy, but I think that's okay. They do have Lurrus back Bowmaster at some point. They kept a card on top. I guess I could have kept Fluster over PO. Doesn't seem right, though. They're not buying Lurrus, so they have like a negation or something. I'll just do spinning then. Don't like these cards. Fetch and sewers. I think I spin pre and post. Yagwil will be good if I ever get rid of my deafening silence. I guess I'll just mill this emerald over. Okay. Guess we are in a waiting pattern for a good opening. They have another Bowmaster. Is that what they kept to the top? Oh, Ancestral. Alright, well, at least this Ancestral is 100% countered because of Deafening Silence. They buy a Lurrus, play a Lurrus. I can Swords it before they get a Bowmaster, hopefully. I'm at 9. Let's buy Lurrus. So this turn I just play a top. There's a Lurrus. Ending. There we go. I'd love this to get countered. He's so good for me. Ah, they held the force for correctly. They correctly held force for my prismatic ending. All right. I have some pretty bad cards coming up. Kind of hope they play like a Mox or something. All right, I think I'm jamming this. Spell pierced it. It's unfortunate. Yeah. These cards are all really bad into this Deafening Silence. I still have another ending and a portable hole, and I can get that off Tez. I think I'd rather play this top. Stock up. Okay. I'll get clear the top cards, maybe, if it resolves. I am down to 7, 6. All right. I got my Sapphire ended. Stock up. Tezzeret DT. Underground C. Just take Tezzeret DT. Mana Crypt Force PO. Tezzeret will immediately die to this Orc token. Anything I do is at risk of getting negated. Yeah. I mean, I might just like take too many turns, you know? Got negated. Got consigned. This Deafening Silence might just draw it out. My opponent has drawn a counter on basically every turn, though. No lands or anything. Though I guess if they drew a Wasteland, it would be pretty bad for me, too, so... Opponent, I need a breather. I need room. All my spells are, sorceries. He got negated. Wow. My opponent just drew a counter on every turn. I wonder if they had negation and consign, and if I had gone the other way, it would have been better. Uh-oh. I think I'm dying to an orc army from 20. I already used all my swords to plowshares. I don't actually have creatures. I got my Tundra Wastelanded. Wow. I guess that means we're gonna die. Huh. I can't believe this is happening. I had so many answers, but everything got countered. I did play into that Spell Pierce, though. Another Deafening Silence. Yeah, okay. So, Deafening Silence. I'm going to spin whole priority. Is uncounterable. I'm gonna spin whole priority, activate whole priority, and then PO. So that draws me 3. And then I get a spin after. I was hoping to draw like Tundra and so there's the prismatic ending. Well, it doesn't. I can prismatic ending this orc army token if I find natural tundra on the next turn. But I can't. I know I'm not finding anything. So it has to be ending and play top and spin for top to find a tundra. I found portable hole and prismatic ending, but no way to play them. Incredible. All right. One orc army token beat me. I think more deafening silence was enough. That's kind of crazy. If I had a Thunder Trap Trainer in my deck, I can't even lose, right? I just block forever. Yeah, I don't know. This Tinker build I don't like very much. We'll see. All right. That was pretty rough. That's the kind of game that you just like can't ever lose as Lurrus, where you're playing. Like I think that this deck is probably unfavored versus Lurrus, whereas Lurrus PO is very favored versus Lurrus Frog. Like if I could play Lurrus PO into Lurrus Frog for 7 rounds, I would. Every round I would play it. But this matchup I wouldn't want to ever play, basically. So if you think that Lurrus Frog is the best deck, and you think everyone is going to continue playing the best deck, then it makes way more sense to play Lurrus PO. All right, I got rid of 2 forces from my opponent's side here. The problem is I don't have a second island. My best draw is definitely Mox. Slam Tezzeret here. Force. All right, well, I am kind of priced into this. Please don't wasteland me. I'm just a nice little guy. I guess Don't null rod me either. Please just play a frog. At least then I can like blue card's a good draw because I can swords the frog and have force. Deafening silence. That means I can't protect my spells. All right, well, I'll take a land off the top to just start slamming Tezzerets. That's not technically a land. But it's not bad either. This is a spot where it does make a lot of sense to have it. Okay, well. Okay. Back to drawing a land and hoping my opponent doesn't have a negation. Oh, never mind. My opponent has Stony Silence as well. All right. I guess I'm dead. This is a great reason to be playing the portable hole, all white lands. Yeah. I don't know. This is the kind of stuff that makes this bad. Free Lurrus. And I have 3 Tezzerets. I guess I just have to force it. It's just like feels so stupid when I can have a fetch land for a... I guess I only have 1 more Tundra left in my deck anyways. All right, I just had to force it. That's my fault. I can't ever protect any of my spells with Deafening Silence, so I just have to force that every time. It's okay. I don't think it matters. This game is lost if or without there being a frog in play. All right. Yep. This is the problem with playing clunky decks, bad mana. You just get eaten alive by the best deck in the format. Efficient threats and counters and stuff. All right, here we go. Another attempt. Another broken hand. Trying to get some like real data here on Tezzeret, but all I do is get turn 1 Tinker hands. I mean, this is about as good as you can possibly draw it up. We're up against Wessel. Usually plays like Hate Bears, so I can probably just force his first play and Tinker him. Oh, I got blue in it, so maybe not. Oh, force backup. All right, force backup. My Moxen are done, but I still have an Ancestral. Maybe I just have to fetch Tundra, so I have options of portable holing. Second oof. Oh, Assassin's Trophy, my basic. Great. I guess I should have fetched Tundra. That's pretty funny. Average Wessel interaction. Why play around Wasteland when you can get Assassin's Trophy? Classic bug draw. All right, I mean, if we make it to 3 lands, I think we're pretty favored. If we don't, then it's looking bad. Uh-oh, Leovold. Turn off your own Moxen. Maybe it's just hold up in negation. Tezzeret, again, uncastable. This is a Hull Breacher. I am not having fun. I just had a broken opener. I have no chance of winning this game. Oh, man. I just think, like, I don't know. I just keep thinking, oh, I could be playing Lurrus PO, and I could literally never lose to this opener, right? I just, like, play my lands. I play my Thunder Trap trainers and stuff, and I win. It's fine. Wow, we actually cast a Dig Through Time? That's crazy. Though, to be fair, if I had fetched a Tundra, I would be in a lot better spot. I did not play around the Assassin's Trophy on my basic. That's on me, I guess. But then if I didn't do that, I'd get Wastelanded, right? So, like, there's more Wastelands in their deck than Assassin's Trophies. All right. I guess I will try bringing in a Sphinx of the Steel Wind, Swords of Plowshares, and Prismatic Endings. I just like don't think you can cast this Prismatic Ending very often. Maybe I need more fetches in my deck or something. It's unclear to me. I do know that I want to get rid of all these opals and slow tutors. It might just need more portable holes as well. Maybe I'd like trim a Tezzeret here. Just because it's so hard to cast. Like, at least stock up gets pitched to force, right? Talking in the Discord right now about how Tezzeret is kind of a similar role in this deck to like a Thunder Trap Trainer in the Lurrus PO deck, and I just think it's worse than Thunder Trap Trainer, right? Like if you're using Tezzeret primary as like redundant mana rocks, casting a 3-mana card is harder than casting one in a blue and doesn't pitch to force. I feel like this is like a card that's going to be confined to Ancient Tomb, Workshop, and Grim Monolith. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Every time I have it, it doesn't look very good. I'm just like getting my mana constricted so much in Vintage. Like every deck, it feels like if their deck isn't comboing you, it's going to wasteland you out of the game, right? Those are the two most powerful things you can do is combo and wasteland. And wasteland is so broken. It really tilts me that like a lot of the times the best thing you can do about wasteland is act like I just act like they don't have a wasteland and ignore it and hope you wins. Like look at this hand. This is a perfect example of like what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Am I putting it back because I have two non-fetches, two 3-drops. Like I have to keep this hand because it plays towards what we're trying to do here. And it doesn't play into like oof heavily. But it's just so bad. If I don't get wastelanded and I draw Mox off the first spell and I don't get dazed or something, then maybe it's good, but I'm definitely, unless I want to play the broken, like if I feel like I broke it with like a combo Raker Shops deck, that I don't feel like you want to play Tezzeret, which is good because it means I don't have to proxy or buy Tezzerets for Steel City. So there's at least some upside. Whistle in the tank, it looks like. Or disconnected, I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess you could theoretically mulligan this hand, but one thing I did do is I cut dress downs from the sideboard, and sometimes you play dress downs in the main and PO. It's like really hard to play dress down if you have Tezzeret. It's kind of the same slots. So it was in the tank. They mulled to 6. So it's like, yeah, I'm more likely to lose to Collector Roof if I do cut dress downs, but dress downs were not going to help me versus the Deafening Silence and Stony Silence, right? Which is, I think, a pretty reasonable reason to not be so interested in them. I'm going to let that go and try to push through a Tinker. Classic bug start. More Mox in the PO deck. Mox, 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 Mox. All right. The good news here is that if the Tezzeret does resolve, it does fetch something that we can use to tinker. Not right away, though. Every turn we don't cast the Stinker, though, is worse for us because of this frog. I mean, if they just go, like, Collector Oof, Wasteland... Yeah, I mean, we're past the point where frogs matter. We just have to jam our combo and hope it works. Flusterstorm would be pretty bad. Mana Vault's great. This plays around Daze. Don't think you play the free Tezzeret here. Do I play? I guess I play around Spell Pierce. Still have a fetch land to give. Force pitching Leo. Force pitching Sphinx. Do you have double force? Do you have Flusterstorm? Spell Pierce at least makes me use my Rainforest. I could go so low here that I don't make it. I could brick here. It's non-deterministic. Citadel. Citadel ending. Ending has to hit Sapphire. I can pay mana for ending? I don't think so. I think that's just the thing. Well, Black Lotus is probably my best draw, so that's good. I think we're gonna win from this spot then. I mean, those were pretty insane hits. So I guess I can target anything on this Prismatic Ending. I think this is just going to get a Sensei's top. Well, how would, I mean, if it just gets a Time Vault, is that good enough? I guess it probably is. Haven't even had to use my thing yet. Yogg-Will and Jet. That gives me a backup plan. I could get consigned maybe. I guess if I get Mind Break trapped, it's like a little bad for me. Okay. Are we still playing? Okay. All right, that was pretty good, but that again, that's just like Tinker and Pray. Tinker and Pray, it hasn't been the primary way to play PO, right, in the last few months. But it hasn't ever been bad. People are like, Lurrus PO pushes out Tezzeret PO, and I don't think that's true. I think they do very different things. The Lurrus PO deck is very close to a true combo control deck, where the Tinker PO is these days a lot closer to just true combo. There were spots where you could play combo control from the Esper Tinker, but nowadays it's not really the case. And I think there were weekends where it made a lot of sense to play the Tinker version. Weekends, especially where Karn was quite good. Deathy? Oh. All right, need to see my hand. Nothing fast going on here. I'm still gonna mental misstep this. It might be bait, but I'm pretty sure it's still correct. Oh, no land drop follow up. I'm gonna fetch an Undercity Sewers. I want to find a 3-drop. Found a 3-drop. It gets countered. I think it just gets countered. Oh, I might be able to force back. If it gets negated, I'll probably force back. Though maybe they're just trying to bait my force and they had a spell pierce or something the whole time. I feel like that's risky if that was them. I feel like the first thing you'd have to do is cast your Daze or your spell pierce or your fluster. Okay, so it's just double force. Makes sense. They pitched force and Leo, so it was triple force. I have no action here, and they have no lands. I have 3-drops galore in my deck, though. Tezzerets and stock ups. They know I have a portable hole as well. They hit the land. They have an oof. They have an oof. I think I'm still supposed to hit this while they're tapped out. They just have the 4th force. Okay. All right. Well, that is the downside there. But if they had like hit a land drop and hard cast negation, it is worse for me. All right. So now I'm in trouble. I'm locked down. The minute I get wastelanded, it's really bad. Summon that one to the top. 7 hits. Yeah, I probably just lose. Just don't have like a lot of good ways to beat this collector roof. I have ways, like I have swords, ending, but that's the white mana is not there. Okay, yeah. Black land, demonic tutor. My opponent's top decks have gone a lot better than my top decks. Waste Force of Will with no blue card because my deck has a very low blue count. I will say if I do resolve a prismatic ending, I am probably in a spot to win. Okay, now I think I'm just dead. Yeah, this deck feels terrible to play. That kills me on the spot with the Mox. I should have forced it, obviously. I just let it go. All right, next. All right, got Daybreak Creator Miharu Fuyamiya across the table. This hand is gross, man. It's so gross. I feel like it's a keep, though. I'm Wasteland proof for a turn. Can go into Time Walk 3-drop. If I'm unpressured, I could go like Tezzeret, minus, Lotus, Ancestral. Keep the Tezzeret around. Something like that. Or can find Mana Crypt, help us cast stock up. All right. Don't have a force though. An opponent is on no cat, so it is dangerous. Has a Mox. Has a Mox. Has an okay. So combo artifacts, defense grid. All right. And have any counter spells anyways. Turn 1 Karn on counterable. Turn 1 Tezzeret for free. Key. Ring. Ring is fine. All right. I mean, they're probably playing my deck. It looks like the combo Raker deck I made. All right, I need to try to win on this turn, but I have everything is uncounterable thanks to defense grid. Not that they would have counters anyways. I think we keep Tinker. Though I currently don't have a way to Tinker. Maybe this merge. Oh, Justin! I clicked the wrong one, so I lost the game. Sorry. I went to hit Time Walk and I hit the wrong one. All right, well, I guess we die. Sorry. I just like went to hit Time Walk and hit the wrong one. I don't know why. I think I would have needed my Time Walk to hit me a Mox to Tinker, but I mean, there's a pretty reasonable chance it could have happened, right? Or maybe they just can't win and they pass the turn here. Oh, they just have 2 tops and they win. Oh, they have Tezzeret Academy. Okay, well that means we're definitely dead. Yeah. Okay, we die. Obviously this wouldn't be the same card. Yeah, just a misclick. Sorry. Yeah, it needed to be Mox. Okay, on the play, Chalice. I just have to focus back up and try again. Negation, Consign, maybe Hercules. Get rid of my extra lands. Don't need Portable Hole. Want Bobble in the play. Maybe you're just like always trimming Opal, because like what else are you trimming here? I guess you don't really need Yogwill here. Maybe you trim a Tezzeret here. I don't want. Do I want swords for? I think I want prismatic endings. Trim 2 Tezzerets. And I think you want mystical so you can get Tinker more often. I'm gonna Opal then. Try that. Sorry, I just misclicked. I don't think I was going to win for what it's worth. I have to Time Walk, so I draw the Tinker and I cast the Time Walk and I get 1 free draw step. If my draw step is a Mox, then I can Tinker. If my draw step is not a Mox, then I'm doing things like maybe Tezzeret Lotus stock up. But like if I tap out, if I pass the turn at all, then I lose. So I have to win. So I think it's just a hope and a prayer of Time Walk into Mock so I can Tinker for a Citadel. And then even then, like if it's an Opal, I can still Tinker on 3 mana. Yeah, I think that's what it had to be. This is a Tinker, turn 2 Tinker. Yeah, I'm just going to keep this. My opponent doesn't have counter spells. All they have is probably like Mind Break Trap. So if I don't lose on turn 1, I can Vamp, Mana Creep, and Tinker. I think that's just like this whole deck. You just cast Tinker, which is what it used to be. Sorry, man. I'll wake up, I swear. Exclamation mark F6. I have noticed ever since I've been playing Shadowverse Ladder that I have been playing way too fast on Magic Online. And the reason is because Shadowverse Ladder just rewards you for playing a ton. And so you're just jamming. You're just like constantly jamming. Yeah, Defense Grid is a funny one because it protects you, but it just means that I don't really care. You spent your turn not advancing the combo, and I'm just going to try to kill you. All right. Well, yeah, this matchup I would think is extremely PO favored. I think trying to play colorless combo into blue is just really bad, but I could always brick here. That is an immediate brick. Okay. I guess I go sewers. A second brick. Okay. A chalice. Could be helpful. Could be harmful. Definitely gonna take probe as a non-brick, and I think so. The problem here is I can't get a sapphire in play unless I time walk. I can't cast this mystical tutor unless I time walk. So I think I'm just gonna take Gitaxian probe and Academy and leave the mystical in my deck. Okay, this PO lets me rebuy the chalice. So maybe I should have thought about POing. So maybe I should have kept mystical or Lotus maybe. I got past the Vexing Bauble, which is good. Okay, that's the end of the road. It's not the end of the road. I have a pro, but I can go to 4. Tezzeret, Flesh Raker. Merchant Scroll to 2. I could crack through it with a bauble. Because this Merchant Scroll can only get me... I guess I could Merchant Scroll for a force and then force their next play. Buy me a whole turn. Yeah, that probably works. Go to 1. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go key, and I'll untap this, and I'll hold up force, and I'll force their next play. Do I want to play out a chalice? No. Okay. I'm gonna just get off this fetch land instead. This bauble I'm never gonna use. Yeah, this is like just so slow and clunky, huh? I don't actually have to counter this, but I think I'm just going to. Makes everything clean. I think PO is better than stock up. Time vaults. Okay, so I just win. All right. Yeah, cutting Tezzeret. Classic. I need this needle in my deck, sorry. Oh man, playing so badly. I definitely want this needle in my deck. Now I didn't take out the bauble and the chalice. Put the opal back in for combo. Okay, this looks better. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're here for. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can PO with Mystical and possibly Tinker, maybe. Hopefully they play Defense Grid again. When my opponent is like leading Defense Grid, I'm very happy. Great. I made this deck justice. But this deck is just like so bad against other combo decks. Stock up. All right, so what is my plan here? Because I have 5 mana. See, I can Mystical for a Tinker and PO for 2. It's not very good. I can Mystical for a Tinker and then stock up. And if I hit any opal or any sapphire, not any Tezzeret, just like Tezzeret Mana Crypt, that wouldn't help. I could Hercules my opponent. I think I'm just supposed to cast stock up and see first. I hit the sapphire, man. So here I could have, I guess it wouldn't have been enough to tinker. So I have a sapphire and I have a consign. So what I can do is I can just Hercules my opponent, hold open consign, they replay defense grid, and I just mystical for a tinker and I tinker. Or can I Hercules myself and do it? So if I go Sapphire and I Hercules myself, and then I play, I have 4. No, I could PO. I could Hercules and then PO and keep going. So in that case, so if I Hercules myself and then I go Mox mana, Mox blue 3. I can stock up after, but there's just like no way I'm like guaranteed to win. Whereas I think if I Hercules my opponent and go for a tinker, I feel like I'm just gonna be a lot happier. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab this Force of Will, play a Sapphire, and Hercules my opponent. And then they can redeploy their defense grid, and I don't even care. But if they don't go defense grid, I still have Force to like stop their combo. And then we just tinker and win. Maybe I'm just supposed to go. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, if they Karn me, they Karn me, though. One Ring is fine. The One Ring is just, like, not threatening to combo decks. It's only threatening to control decks. So much mana do I have? Because I could PO first. The risk of POing first is I draw Citadel. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yep, this game's over. Yeah, so like my observation here is going to be, doesn't really have a lot to do with Tezzeret, but playing Tinker PO, is just better against combo decks and worse against blue decks. I think I'm just not casting that. I think I'm just drawing through this. And then I'll search a Mana Crypt. And I'll PO. Then I'm going to double Citadel my opponent through the ring. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, Tinker is Tinker, and Tinker Citadel wins games. All right. Focus up here. Let's get my money back. 2-2 Vintage League. Going for the 3-2. We've lost to the 2 blue decks, and wait, what was the other win? I don't even remember at this point. Classic portable hole in our opener. Mox, PO, I mean, I don't know. I'm probably supposed to mulligan, right? But like, kind of feels bad. This is the spot where you would want to have like a needle or something in your main in case you were up against Dredge. It just kind of feels good because I can't get wastelanded. I get an underground river and play a cruel captain. I don't know. It seems okay. If I didn't have a Mox, obviously this hand's not close, but uh-oh. Jewel, ring, forge. Can't portable hole forge. It's not, this forge is not portable at all. It's stuck there. Exiled an ancient tomb. All right. So the thing that I need here is force, I guess. Combo, demonic tutor, something. Mana crypt. Mana crypt sounds great. Can I use Tezzeret as a thunder trap trainer in PO this turn? Probably, right? Yeah. So I can go mana crypt. Unless they're Jewel. Tezzeret. This is another nice instance of Tezzeret that hasn't actually come up today yet. But if you have enough mana, you can just use him as a Thunder Trap trainer that can rebuy itself. So here I can go... I think the best thing is Mana Crypt. Sorry, Mana Crypt. I can't do Mana Crypt, so Mana Vault. And there's a PO for 4. Okay, this is a really nice one. This is a pretty nice one. This is points towards Tezzeret. It's like a little Thunder Trap trainer. Don't have a... this Tezzeret can find the blue source after. Yeah, okay, that's actually really sick, right? Because after this, your Tezzeret goes and finds you a Sapphire. Okay, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. That was... We should make this the first thing of the video. I think... So I lose the Lotus no matter what, so I'd rather have an additional thing. Oh, wait, what if I do... I think I just lose the Lotus no matter what, right? It's fine. Can I stock up first? Yeah, I guess I stock up first. Oh, no, I don't. All right, now I'm looping. I just need a Tinker. That'll do it. Okay, that was an impressive one for Tezzeret. Okay, it finally happened. So now I tinker away the Mana Crypt for a Time Vault. I untap my Time Vault. Okay. Yeah. That's a really good one. Whatever, who cares? That was by far the first thing that happened in this league where I thought, damn, Tezzeret, okay. That was sweet. All right, so we're up against another combo-oriented workshop deck. I mean, you don't know. It's any kind of workshop deck. All they did was play Moxen and workshop and Forge. So I think we'll just do endings and negations and consigns and Hercules and Sphinx. I mean, if they're a combo, we don't want Sphinx. We just want Citadel. Take this out. I mean, I don't know what kind of deck they are. That's kind of part of the problem here. I'm gonna board like they're combo oriented though, and maybe that will come back and bite us. We'll see. Let's try this. Yeah, so that was pretty great, but I also had a lot of artifact mana to make that happen. Can't imagine mulliganing this unless my opponent actually is on prison shops. No, Grim Monolith. So they are combo oriented. That's it? Okay. So I have 5 mana. I can go Lotus, Tez, Mana Crypt, Sapphire, stock up. Yeah, sure. Okay, I mean, this is not a bad look. Am I getting forced? Is it Jewel? And it's going to get back to search on the next turn. Okay, these have been some very strong Tezzeret games. Find another force here, maybe. Consign. I feel like I just take Consign Probe. I guess it's better to have Hercules. Yeah, that's right. Now I got tons of backup. If I hit an artifact next turn, I mean, I'm just mysticaling for Tinker next turn. Who am I kidding? And then the Tez can get the Sensei stop. Yeah, this should just be Tinker. I guess I could have Force. I think that's fine. This is actually not that good for me if they do have Force though. Fuck, they have negation in. Okay, so now I'm gonna lose. Okay, this is my fault. This is my fault. I could just go PO maybe. Okay. Sorry. That one is definitely just playing incorrectly. If I had hit a mana, I could just go get a needle here. Yeah. Maybe it's just a bad mystical then. I'm gonna grab a mana vault. I mean, I'm not dead or anything because I have Hercules Recall and I have Force, so like I can't actually die to constructs here. But it definitely was maybe needlessly all in against a possible counterspell. I didn't really think about negation out of Jewel. That's certainly a thing you can do. I just didn't really think about it. Maybe Mana Vault is worse than some other options because I can't play it and cast Hercules this turn because I'm gonna need to cast Hercules. All right, they're out of cards, so it's not bad. I just need another Mox to go POing. Probe. Definitely no reason not to probe. I guess if I want... Okay, yeah. This is a good reason to probe, because now I just PO and win anyways. Yeah, little hyphy. No problem, though. That's why I wanted the Mana Vault, is so I can do this with my Sapphire. They want to F6. Okay. I mean, don't even have to play well. That was probably the wrong one. I think I'd rather just cast Hercules. Opponent can't play Force off of these lands, so I guess I can wait. I guess that gives him more mana. Does a mana crypt flip at least? Because I can hold open negation if they like had Vault Key, and then next turn I can hit the key with the ending. I should just hit the key. No, yeah, this is fine. This lets me Hercules on their turn and hold open negation. If that's something I want to do. I guess they might not play the key out now. Seems like that would be unlikely. Oh, they played the Mana Crypt out. That's interesting. Is there a good reason to play the Mana Crypt out? Ah, they drew Tez. I guess this gets a Sensei's top, and there's no reason to leave it in play. If they drew Tez, they should have waited till this. They should have played these after they played Tez. I could technically Prismatic Ending Tez. I think I'm gonna negate it. This could be this could be wrong. I would be interested to know if that is wrong, because they can like draw a jewel or whatever, right? Definitely shouldn't have played this Mana Crypt though, maybe. I don't know. Depends on like how much getting Tezzeret counters matters. Because I don't currently have the ability to play anything in my hand. So like, if they just draw a jewel here, I die, right? So maybe this was a mistake. But like if Tezzeret finds a top, it's pretty bad. And then what am I doing countering the top? Do they have a top in their deck? If there's no tutor target for the Tezzeret, I guess it's kind of bad. All right, an Opal lets me cast Citadel. Glad I killed the Manifold Key. Saga seems kind of bad here. I think that's too slow. Demonic. Okay, that does it. Probably just PO. 2 POs. I did board out Yogwell. Karn. I'll just get Karn. I mean, I could get, I can't get Lotus. PO is how many? PO is 4 cards. Let's just get Karn. Karn can clear my yard and get Lotus, I guess. Get a Lantern and exile my Lotus. I only have 11 health. And I get to crack my Lantern. Yo and Jet lets me cast it this turn. Okay, I mean, that probably just wins on the spot then. I don't know if that was actually the correct tutor, but it's fine. I have 1 PO left in my deck. Time walk is enough. All right. Yeah, I don't know what that Tezzeret search. I mean, so the Karn search like is always good, no matter what. Like it locks their whole game down. They can't do anything. And then getting Lantern means I got a free draw, and I can get Lotus on the next turn and play Citadel. So like it's never bad. Whereas if I PO, I could technically draw 5 lands and die. All right. So a 3-2. I think by far the absolute best Tezzeret games were those last rounds where Tezzeret was acting like a Thundertrap trainer and it tutored for a Mana Crypt, tutored for a Lotus, tutored for a Sapphire, went off with PO. I think that's probably where Tezzeret's at its best. My concern is, are you already winning those games anyways? Like the times where you get to cast Tezzeret, you already have a bunch of mana. Like sure, it makes you go off harder. Is that what you need? I guess in the scenario where you have nothing, you have 3 lands and you play a Tezzeret and get a Mana Crypt, and then on the next turn you PO for 2, and then it's that maybe that's the spot. It's something to think about. The problem for me is Tezzeret costs 3 mana, and if you are constricted by Wastelands and Collector Roofs and Deafening Silences and Stony Silences, I just don't know that this Tezzeret is going to be castable. And that's how it felt, right? Like I feel like when we played against the restrictive blue decks, that was when we lost. And when we had our free reign to do our combo thing with Tinker, that is where we won. I'm not sure that this makes the deck better. And if it does make the deck better, I don't think you want 4. I think it's very possible that this should just be 2 Tezzerets as additional, like, stuff, and then you get to put spells back in your deck. Like you can put the Snapcaster back in your deck, you could put a Flusterstorm back in your deck, you could put Dress Down back in your deck, you could put the cards that were taken out to make Tezzeret, you could put Thundertrap Trainer back in your deck. Like maybe you play 2 Thundertrap Trainers and you play 2 Tezzerets, and then you're a little bit more balanced. I also question whether this like 2 Tundra portable hole swords prismatic ending thing is viable. It is historically what Esper Tinker decks have done, but I feel uniquely pinched on white mana to an extreme degree. Like the other, the Lurrus PO deck has 3 Tundra lands, and sometimes I fetch sometimes I put the plains in the sideboard and play all of my Flooded Strands. So, yeah, those are the things that I'm thinking about as being problems. Don't know. I do feel that this league did not go well. I know I went 3-2. It's not a bad performance. I did a lot of Tinker Citadel, and my Citadel basically never bricked, which was very nice, but I don't know if that's always going to be really be the case here either. And I think Tezzeret did some things that were good and was clunky and bad some other times. So a little bit of here, a little bit there. Let me know what you think in the comments. You'll probably be surprised when you see this video, and if you were a YouTube watcher, because I've had 2 very good Tezzeret videos, and now I'm out of here, and oh, I think Tezzeret's a bit of a flop, which is quite a departure from the initial narrative. Tezzeret is a very strong card, obviously, but I don't think it's, stock up or anything. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to follow. We've got Steel City is in a week. Next week is Steel City, so I will be there as a guest playing Vintage. I will also be playing a CEDH content creator event on Thursday nights, or sorry, Friday nights, maybe Friday night, I believe. I think Friday night, Friday Vintage, Friday night CEDH content creator event, and Saturday I will probably be playing the Legacy Battle for Duels, but I do need to refine another Legacy deck again. So I got those coming up, and then if you want to play some local Vintage in Massachusetts on the 24th, there's another ELD open. So keep that in mind if you are in the Northeast area and you want to play some paper Vintage, full proxy at ELDs in Bellingham. So that's coming up as well. Thanks for hanging out. We got more Vintage content coming on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.